Hello, everyone. Let me see here. Hold on. Oh, no. Why are you doing this now? Sorry about that. My technical device is completely freaked out for a second. Okay. Here we are. Yep. You can see it. It's the couch. And you know what that means. It means that I'm still coming to terms with the fact that I have more in common with our Russian friend Jeff than I like to admit, apparently, because we got hot sauces. These are not Fuego boxes, by the way. These are actually hot sauces that me and my wonderfully not mutinous crew here have chosen just for my suffering. Oh, hi, Chet. No, not Chet. Hi, Mr. Bishop. Hello, Mr. Bishop. Hi, Tara. Boy, howdy. Boy, howdy. Of course, the Christians are the first ones to show up for tonight's show, huh? Yeah, tonight we're going to be talking about the forces of darkness mentioned in the Bible. And before you ask, no, we're not going to really talk about that one. Well, a little, but we'll get to that later. This is actually a topic that I personally really like. This is something that I wanted to discuss pretty much like right off the bat when we first decided we were going to do this. This was like something I wanted to talk about. Which brings me, there's a few things we need to just get out of the way right now before we even get into this mess. Because it's going to be a mess. We all know it's going to happen. The basic rule of conversation, never talk about politics, never talk about religion, and never talk about your mother-in-law. But we're going to be doing possibly two of those three things, actually, now that I think about it. But there are a few things I want to get out of the way first. And the very first one, I'm going to bring the mood down. This is something that I really wanted to get off my chest and address first. Monday, we tragically lost a great content creator. Monday, it was brought to my attention, Captain Corey sadly is no longer with us. I was going to actually considering doing the show talking about something in honor of him. His channel was big on pirates and the Spanish Main War and stuff like that. But everything was kind of already set up for our show, and I didn't have time to do the research and so on to do that justice. So before I become belligerent with pain, I'm going to address... Next week, we will be talking about the mythology and kind of folk heroes and characters of piracy. In memory and honor of our dear friend, Captain Corey. Obviously, those of us who pray here, your family is in our prayers. But I just wanted to get that out of the way. We'll talk more about that next week and stuff. In the meantime, though, the next thing we need to address, and I promise from here on, we're going to have some fun. We're going to, have an entertaining show. I promise, the show must go on, and it's going to. But the second thing I need to address before anything else. Hi, Dad. Just real quick, yeah. Anyway. Yes, I am aware that there is a certain level of hypocrisy about an atheist. I've never hidden that. I've actually can kind of bold about it. I know it might seem kind of odd, an atheist talking about the Bible and the Torah. I think it's pronounced Torah. I hope it's pronounced Torah. And the Quran. I want to explain something. I want to kind of dash a kind of vicious rumor that some people have implied with me. Yes, I'm an atheist. I am not, and I want to make this clear in no uncertain terms, I am not an anti-theist. I have no grudge, I have no beef, I have no hostility with people's faith and their beliefs. As far as I'm concerned, as long as everyone involved is consenting, go be you. I'm perfectly fine with it. Now, we're going to be addressing these stories from a third-party perspective. I'm going to be on the sideline. I'm not here to denounce or dissuade or persuade anything to anyone. Okay? We're just talking about the stories and these characters. Okay? We're just putting that big disclaimer up on top of this whole thing. Okay? Although I don't believe it, have nothing but respect for these cultures, for these legends, and these characters. Excuse me. I actually like a lot of them myself personally. Like I said, yeah, excuse me. There you go. See, my sister gets it. Anyway, though, like I was saying before, we had to kind of bring the mood down. I actually wanted to do this episode pretty much, like, this was one of the first things, because, I mean, we thought about it. It's like, well, what could we talk about? And one of the things I wanted to was to talk about, these lesser known, I mean, I've always said I'm a card-carrying member of the dark side. I think these creatures and these characters are interesting. I don't think they're real, but that doesn't mean they don't have merit. Doesn't mean they don't have value. And it's funny because when I mentioned last week we were going to get biblical on your butt and talk about the forces of evil and these darker creatures and characters, I actually had a couple people talk to me. It's like, well, we know who you're going to talk about, right? You named one after him. You named your dog after it, right? You're going to talk about them, right? Well, I'm going to try. So we're going to jump right into this, and there's no reason hiding it any further. Our first topic in the forces of evil in the Abrahamic if I could talk, that'd be wonderful. In the Abrahamic legends, an account, of course, is the four horsemen. Sometimes referred to as the horsemen of the apocalypse or the four horsemen of the apocalypse. This one posed a bit of a problem, actually. So the horsemen are kind of unique, because for the uninitiated, the Torah, which is the some people call the Jewish Bible, even though there's kind of some discrepancies there. I don't know. It's weird because there's it's the Old Testament, but it's not all the Old Testament. Anyway, the Old Testament or the Torah, the Bible, and the Quran, which is the Islamic version, they share a lot of the same stories and a lot of the same characters. That cannot be said for the four horsemen from what I've come to learn. Book of Revelations is where the horsemen come from, and that is only in the Bible. From the research that I've done, the Book of Revelations is not in the Quran, and this might come as a shock, but it's also not in the Torah. So this is something exclusive, kind of. And a lot of people... Oh, yeah, real quick disclaimer. Keep it respectful, people, okay? All right? This is not a political channel. We're not advocating or denouncing anything yet. So be respectful. It's funny because I think actually most of the people in the chat are going to be Christians. I'm sure he's coming. Our resident Lord of Chaos is back. Sean is back. I just know he's going to say something. He'll say it with a smirk on his face, of course, by the way, but still. We see you, Sean. But anyway, and it's interesting because the Book of Revelations amongst the Christians is considered more or less the most holy of the holy books. Because, again, for the uninitiated, the Bible is not one book. And a lot of people get that wrong, actually. It's actually an anthology. It's a collection of, like a dozen, 24 different books? Something about that? Something. Anyway, but Revelations is the one, you don't mess with that one. That is the most holy of holy. Which makes it really awkward because it turns out that, quick challenge for the people in the chat. Think of something you know about the four horsemen of the apocalypse. You got it? Okay, you're wrong. There's almost nothing, there's almost no correlation between the pop culture characters that we know as the four horsemen and what actually is in the Book of Revelations. They appear right off the bat in... also, I have this pocket Bible. Ironically, Sean gave me this. So maybe he'll have to live that down. Because he's not a fan of organized religion either. He's like me. He doesn't trust priests and stuff like that. But anyway, now, chapter 6, the first, I want to say, quarter of Book of Revelations, chapter 6, is the horseman. And that's it. It's like, I'd say... Yeah, only about maybe half a dozen paragraphs, like a couple paragraphs. It's not that much, which is funny because they live in such infamy, and they're so known. Like everyone knows the four horsemen, right? It doesn't matter if you're, Jewish or pagan or atheist. Everyone knows the four horsemen. Chat, back me up on this, right? Y'all know the four horsemen. Actually, let's do that real quick. Chat, the few people that are in the chat right now, who here thinks that they can name the four horsemen? Anyone in the chat dare to try and say the names of the four horsemen? Tara says there's 65 books in the Bible? That sounds like a lot. We'll have to get back in that and check that later. Because now I'm curious. I brought it up myself, and now I'm curious. Like, wait, how many? Because it's not one book. It's an anthology of dozens of books. Can anyone name the four horsemen? The four. And no looking it up, Tara. I can hear her already going on to I can hear her.
The number of the books in the Bible is going to depend on which religion you are or what you count.
Okay, so it changes from translation to translation. Okay.
Yeah, 66.
So some say 66 though.
Catholic Bible has more.
Okay.
Some people count Book of Enoch.
Okay. But so Tara's actually pretty close. Okay, wait, Tara has stepped forward with an answer. War, pestilence, death, and famine. See, I kind of want to give other people a chance to say something, but I'm gonna... Yeah, what the heck. I'm just gonna answer. Tara, you are 1 for 4. You got one right. Yep, there it is. You got one correct, Tara. War, pestilence, and famine are not in the book of Revelation. It does not say that. I actually have it here, and I'm going to read it in a second. But no, war, pestilence, and famine are names that were given to them in pop culture, in like movies and video games and books and so on. And I have a personal theory of how it happened, but I'm going to read this. Hi, Connie. How you doing? Only one of them. In fact, only one of them is named at all. Yeah, Death is the only one that we hear his name. And I'm going to read this off. This is from, let's see. Yeah, this is Revelations chapter 6, from 1 to 8. Or no. Yeah, from 1 to 8. Revelations 6-1 to 8 are the horsemen, and that's it. So, she's proud of herself that she got one right. Yeah, real quick now, is it... you mentioned reading Revelations aloud, the whole thing is a blessing, or just reading it in general?
Revelations 1, if you read it aloud, you are blessed.
Okay.
Don't add or take away anything from the book, is what it says.
We're not going to.
Yeah.
We're going to be respectful here.
But yes, reading the whole book aloud is...
Said to be a blessing. Yes. Okay. Well, darn, I thought we could maybe cheat a little and get a blessing for our subscribers and everybody. Oh, yeah, no, we're doing great here. Bit of a rocky start because this is kind of a touchy subject. We're talking about religion. We also had to discuss the tragedy of losing a great person. But we're going to... This is Revelations chapter 6. And this is where I'm scared because I'm dyslexic and I just know I'm going to like misread something and totally screw this up. But here we go. Okay. One last time checking the chat. Okay, everyone's behaving themselves. Chapter 6. Now I watched when the Lamb opened one of the 7 seals, and I heard one of the 4 living creatures say with a voice like thunder, "Come." And I looked and beheld a white horse, and its rider had a bow, and a crown was given to him, and he came out conquering and to conquer. And when he opened the 2nd seal, I heard that 2nd living creature say, "Come." And out came another horse, bright red. Its rider was permitted to take peace from the earth, so that the people should slay one another, and he was given a great sword. And when he opened the 3rd seal, I heard the 3rd living creature say, "Come." And I looked and beheld a black horse. Its rider had a pair of scales in his hand. And I heard what seemed to be a voice from the midst of the 4 living creatures saying, "A quart of wheat for a denarius, and 3 quarts of barley for a denarius, and do not harm the oil and the wine." And he opened the 4th seal, and I heard the voice of the 4th living creature say, "Come." And I looked and beheld a pale horse, and its rider was named Death, and Hades followed him. And they were given authority over 1/4 of the world, to kill with sword, and with famine, and with pestilence, and by all the wild beasts of the earth. And that is Revelations chapter 6, 1 to 8. That is the 4 horsemen. Now, again, I'm trying to be respectful. I'm not trying to add anything or change anything. But I noticed something interesting. Because everyone knows them as war, pestilence, famine, and death. And yeah, a bit of a touchy subject, we know. But, I mean, never scared us from doing anything else, right? And besides, and again, this kind of goes into me being an atheist. I am officially invoking the rule of cool. These are cool stories. These are interesting creatures and characters. By the way, real quick, we always know them as the 4 horsemen. It didn't say they were men. It didn't say they were human either. It calls them creatures. 4 living creatures who can talk. But that 3rd one, boy howdy, he had a mouth on him, didn't he? He was the one who was saying all these weird prices. What is it? Is a denarius? That was like a day's wage or something like that, I think. In Greek, a day's wage was a denarius, I think. I'd have to double check that.
Roughly translates about $100 for us today.
Okay.
Maybe a little more, a little less.
It's a shame Sean's not in the chat. He could probably tell you in Greek what was a day's wage or what is a denarius. But anyway, the one time, right? Anyway, though, so I have a theory. Because it mentions the 4 horsemen or creatures. And it says that they take the world, they take 1/4 of the world and rule it with the sword, with famine, with pestilence, and wild beasts. Well, we know the 4th one's name is Death. I think when they were kind of introducing these characters to pop culture, they kind of got named after the things they rule with. I mean, of course, it's not the sword horseman, even though he carries a sword. And that one, he takes peace away from the world. Well, what is the absence of peace? War. So I think the context kind of got muddied, and the horsemen were remembered in culture as what they rule with. And so you get war, the absence of peace, pestilence, famine, and we know the 4th one is death. And to address the question that a couple of people actually asked me, why is my dog here named Famine? Well, there is actually a reason. It's kind of benign. Well, I mean, as benign as naming a dog after a horseman of the apocalypse. In case you couldn't tell, I love food. I love anything to do with food. I love cooking. I love the art of food. I love all that stuff. And so, I love all things dark and scary and evil, for lack of a better term, and we'll get to that in a minute. I love all that kind of stuff, and so, well, what is a dark thing tied to food? Well, famine and gluttony. Also, yes, the irony is not lost on me. The small one is called gluttony, and that's the point. They're ironically named. That knowledge is... There you are! There's the resident Lord of Chaos. Hey, Sean! Oh, okay, so he doesn't know. Of course not. Isn't that convenient, you little mother? I'm going to try extra hard not to curse, because I know I'm already on a touchy subject. The last thing I need is to make the bishop's ears bleed again. He's still recovering. He's still recovering from the comic book episode where we were dropping F-bombs. I honestly thought he was going to face melt like a Raiders of the Lost Ark for a second there. Anyway, though, which, by the way, great movie. It's on YouTube, actually. I want to say it's on rental for YouTube. Yeah. Watch that after the show. Or no, go to the Late Late Horror Show after our show, of course. But, like, tomorrow, go watch Raiders of the Lost Ark. Awesome movie. Anyway, though, but that's the Four Horsemen. That's what they are. I will say this. I think it's very interesting that they didn't name the third one Famine. They don't say his name is Famine. But if you listen to what he's saying, it kind of makes sense that he is Famine. Because a big misconception, people think famines are caused when there's no food. Not historically speaking. Most of the great famines of the world were actually caused by hoarding. By saying that, a little bit of wheat is worth a day's wage. It's kind of funny how, without intending to, they kind of did make the third horseman a perfect example of famine. But yeah, that's the Four Horsemen. I think they're really cool characters, even though there's not a lot about them in the Bible. Very ominous, interesting characters. A common misconception is that people say that they'll take the whole world over and divide them into fourths, but actually I find it kind of interesting. The book says that they rule over a fourth of the world, not the entire world. That's a common mistake that people say. The horsemen do not take over the world. They rule part of it. There's also stories about, they're metaphors for other characters. Like a lot of people say that the horseman with the sword is the Antichrist, but I'm sorry, I gotta defend the book here. It doesn't say that. They are four unique individual creatures. They are not anyone else. They are four living things. But yeah, that's the secret behind famine here. You gonna be good? I notice that the more often I mention her, the more she wants to tip over. She's an oddly affectionate dog for one that was raised from the dead by the Necronomicon. How's everybody doing? Bronze Age philosophy expert. Okay, so that's your field. Interesting. That's something I've always wondered. What is the actual difference between the Bronze Age and the Iron Age and the Steel Age and the Dark Age? And I don't know. These all kind of bleed together, But anyway, yeah, everyone's being good. Yeah, that's a good point, Mr. Bishop. People kind of see what they want to see. And again, we are approaching his friend. We are approaching respectfully. I'm just telling you the story, and I'm just telling what people say about the stories. I personally think they're very interesting creatures. And this might sound slightly blasphemous, but I swear I don't mean it to. I kind of feel like it's the Boba Fett effect. You know what I mean? Boba Fett is hardly in the original Star Wars trilogy. He has, like, what, 3 lines, I think, actually, in the original? And one of them was screaming. You know, he doesn't say much. But Fett was easily one of the most popular characters ever in the entire franchise. Even though there's nothing to him. We just know he's dangerous. You know, and he's kind of creepy. A lot like the Horsemen. And I think that's partly why in pop culture they're so well known. Like, everyone talks about them. Everyone knows about the Horsemen. Even though, again, I literally read you every single bit of information about them. That's it. But they have command such... Oh no, I don't like that look. Okay, Sean, look, I'm an atheist, but even I'm going to say, do not dare mention Shamalama Ding Dong. Okay, this is a happy place. Whilst we break the seals and summon the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. The big difference is the material used. It's a very blurred line between them. Okay. Oh, hi, Dakota. That's funny. Usually, I want to say my sister says that Dakota can't watch my shows. Oh, was I not supposed to say that? The Dark Ages first appeared where we can't find much evidence of what actually happened. Huh. Yeah, I know the Dark Ages is more European stuff. Anyway, though. But that's the 4 horsemen. Like I said, I feel kind of it's a Boba Fett effect. They're popular because we don't know about them. Like I said before, they're not even actually specified as being human. They're not described. Also, I noticed something interesting. Everyone always depicts Death having that big sickle, or scythe, the scythe. It didn't say that. He doesn't have anything in his hands. He has Hades, whatever that means, following him. But he doesn't have the scythe. I know Hades is the underworld, hell, whatever you want to call it. I'm saying in general, nah, he doesn't carry anything. It doesn't say that. It does say that they use like he, him, his. So yeah, they're guys, they're male. But it doesn't call them human. It calls them creatures. So I'm kind of curious. What are they? Because I've heard some people say that they're actually angels. And other people say that they're demons. I'm kind of curious. What do you guys think in the chat? Are the horsemen angels or demons? Or are they a third thing? Are they something else entirely? For the record, I'm not trying to pick a side. I'm just saying, you know, what's your opinion? What would you say they are? For conversation's sake, you know, what are they? Again, I've heard a lot of people say that they're metaphors, but no, they're living creatures, and according to the Bible, they're living things. We just don't know what they are. They're creatures. So I'm kind of curious. What do you guys think? Yeah, some say hell, some say Hades. It's a translational thing. I don't know, Sean. That's a pretty dang elaborate metaphor. Dakota says the horses are demons. Okay. Mr. Bishop, they're just a picture made to be scary with the scythe, I guess. But anyway, now that we have kicked the hornet's nest and everybody is giving their opinions, be wary of opinions, religion, and politics. I remember that's something people told me back when I had my previous job, when I said I was going to start doing YouTube videos in general, even before we were doing this, just when we were doing the regular Vagrancy horror. I remember a coworker told me, never mention politics, never mention religion, and keep your opinions to yourself. Screw you. It's my channel. I'll do what I bloody want. And what we're going to be doing next is we're going to be talking about... we're going to be going farther back. This is Old Testament territory. This is a pair of creatures. You can't really talk about one without the other. They were always together, even though they were two separate things. We're going to talk about, and I have listened to recordings of this. From everything I can tell, this is how you pronounce the name. So get ready to snicker like little children, because, yep, it's a silly name. Wait, what's that, Tara? Mr. Bishop, I hope you're okay. Mr. Bishop is saying that he might lose his internet. Well, hopefully you're all right. My dear sister, while we're talking about these dark forces and evil things, my niece is just singing at the top of her lungs, head, shoulders, knees, and toes. There you go. There's a perfect analogy for motherhood, right? Anyway, though, so get ready to snicker like 13-year-old little boys, because we're going to need to bring these guys up. Baal and Ashtra. I think that's how you... Yeah, Ashtra. No? Ashra. 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 So, who or what are these guys? And how much did their parents hate them to give them these names? So, there's actually a lot of confusion, and this is something I was interested to find out. Baal in particular... He's all through the Old Testament. He's especially mentioned in Kings, a bit in Leviticus. He's all across the board, though. Not as much in the New Testament, but he is still mentioned there. There's a bit of confusion because apparently his name, Baal, is also a Hebrew word for... basically, it's a term for someone with authority. So there are certain times where it's Baal, this evil creature. Oh, excuse me. And then there's other times where there's people who are like, they'll have the word Baal in their name. And so people, there's kind of this argument about, well, which ones are actually which? And we're going to try and talk about them in general. So what are they? There's a whole thing about them, and everyone has an opinion of them, so I'm going to give you mine. The big thing we know for a fact is they're kind of like they're rivals or enemies of the God of Israel, which I believe the Hebrews called Yahweh. That was the term they used. They called him Yahweh, who is also of, yes, the God in the Bible, and in the Quran, he's called Allah. But anyway, yeah, and it's kind of strange because the first time they come up is in Leviticus. So, send it down. Oh, they're talking about storms. Anyway, the first time they're mentioned really is in Leviticus. So, we're going to give some context here because it's actually very important. This is a more nuanced creature. The Hebrews just escaped from Egypt, and now they're wandering the deserts looking for the promised land, right? That was what they were doing, which would become Israel. Now, at a certain point, God speaks to Moses, and he warns Moses, you are going into the land of the Canaanites, who we might know as the Phoenicians, or Phaceans, I think is the pronunciation. They're talking about storms. Anyway, I keep seeing the chat move out of the corner of my eye, and so I kind of reflexually look, and it's like, no, they're just talking about storms. Okay, fine. Anyway, so God talks to Moses, and he warns Moses, look, part of your journey to the promised land, you're going to go through the land of the Canaanites. And it's interesting because he's like, look, you are foreigners in their land, their ways are foreign to you, their gods are foreign to you. Stay away from them. Stay away. Don't speak to them. Don't mingle with them. Do not take women for your wives from them. Don't even take slaves from them. No. Stay away from them. Which is interesting, and it'll kind of add some context to something later. But anyway, and he specifically mentions Asherah, Baal. There's a few other ones that get named, but those are the big ones, mostly. And so, okay, fine, we'll do what you say. Unfortunately, peaceful coexistence was not to be. The Canaanites and the Hebrews pretty much could not keep away from each other. There was lots of conflicts between them. And I'm going to go over them individually now. I'm going to try and talk about, again, things being fair. I'm not advocating or denouncing anyone or anything. I'm just telling the stories. So, Ashtoreth, or Ashtoreth, however you want to pronounce its name. Don't worry, I don't think you're going to offend anybody. I don't think there's any facetians in the crowd. And if there are, how? Anyway, and it's funny because I have a funny story to tell when I was doing research for this stuff. So we're going to go with Ashtoreth first. And the bishop kind of mentioned it, that there were these poles, these rods or staves, or sometimes they're called trees, but we'll get to that. And so I'm looking up this character, right? And the first article I found that talked about this creature was Ashtoreth, goddess of the poles. And for some reason, my 13-year-old brain turned on, and I was like, oh, that son of a bishop, you've been holding out on me. There's a goddess of strippers in the Bible. How come you didn't tell me that? I'm watching you. Actually, no, it's not nearly as fun as it sounds. Although it is also kind of funny. So, the big thing is these poles, these rods or staves, which in the Bible are referred to as Ashurims, or an Asherim. Now, it's described as usually being a wooden pole. Although there is actually historical artifacts, they found some that are clay. And basically, God warns, stay away from these things. They can tempt you. That's the big thing, is temptation. Temptation is the big one with Asherah. And in the Bible, it actually describes how the Canaanites came to the Hebrews. And I'm going to play devil's advocate for a second here and probably tick off a lot of the faithful in the chat. I'm just going to call out a spade here. The Canaanites didn't seem that aggressive, in my opinion. They kind of were just, like, hey, you're in our lands, hi. They introduced their faiths, and yeah, things got bad because obviously the commandments of God were, hey, stay away from it. Specifically, God said, stay away from them. And the Hebrews didn't. There's a guy named... Okay. What happened? Okay,
I
okay.
messed up the comments.
You have one job. Anyway, so, and again, in the case of Asherah, God warned about how these rods were tempting. These poles are tempting, and they'll lead you into temptation. And one of the big examples that actually upset God a lot was the Hebrews erected these poles right beside the temple, right beside the altar of Yahweh, which, again, good, bad, right, doesn't matter. God specifically gave the orders to the Hebrew people. You will not have other gods. You will not mingle with these other gods. Again, in Leviticus, he specifically warned about Asherah and Baal. And here they were putting things up beside his altar, so he was getting mad. And at one point, they even describe it, that the Hebrews kind of became corrupted because they were actually worshiping Asherah more. And it has maybe one of, and this isn't funny, but again, keep in mind, when I was reading this, I was in complete 13-year-old brain mode, and I couldn't help but snicker. So in the Bible, it claims that there was a priestess of Asherah who would put herself by the altar of Yahweh of all things, and she would, and I quote, ritualistically prostitute herself, and the men would line up to offer their sacrifices to her. And my first thought, and for the record, this is completely juvenile, I admit it, I'm just going to pose the question, how bad of a prostitute do you have to be that it's considered a sacrifice? I know that's not what it meant. I know it's not referred to, but that was what my brain went to at first. And I just couldn't help but laugh. It's like, wow, Azra, what the hell? I'm sorry. I know that's not the context. They were giving their offerings because the sacrifices the Hebrews made to Yahweh was like livestock and was grain common? I think grain. I mean, they kind of sacrificed everything except people. God said, don't sacrifice people. Never sacrifice human blood or flesh. Sacrifice everything else. You can sacrifice money. You can sacrifice the soil. You can sacrifice your crops. Whatever. Not people. So I know what they were actually giving the priestess was their offerings to Yahweh. You know, cattle or food or stuff like that. But the way it's phrased just made me chuckle. It's like, wow. Kind of feel bad for the Hebrews there. How desperate do you have to be, right? But anyway, what's funny is that this is the land of the Canaanites. This is where it's happening. But what's interesting is that the Canaanites are real. And there's this common misconception that, especially with people who are more in my affiliation, you know, atheistic or anti-theistic people even, they think that the Abrahamic stories are kind of in this bubble and they're only by themselves. And no, that's not true at all. There's lots of historical stuff in the Bible that we can cross-reference, and the Torah and the Quran for the record, that we can cross-reference. And one of them is the Canaanites. Now, the problem with the Canaanites is that they were eventually kind of absorbed by the Greek Empire, and then we know them as the Phoenicians, which should give you an indication, because what does it mean to be facetious? Snide, rude, sarcastic, condescending, you know, so you kind of get an idea of who they were. They were very proud people, actually. From what I saw of them, they basically, they were also refugees from Egypt, actually. They ruled what today we call Syria, actually. But they started off the Canaan, I'm sure I'm pronouncing that wrong, one of the deltas of the Nile, and they basically got pushed out by Egypt. But they kept the name Canaanite. A lot of people also mistake it. They think, when they hear Canaanite, they think that they're a descendant of Cain, the first murderer. No. There's no connection between Cain and the Canaanites. Although they're both kind of bad guys in the Bible, to be fair. Cain almost made the list of people to talk about, but he's a human. And I wanted to talk about the cool monsters and stuff like that, you know. Maybe we'll talk about Cain another time. Wish you could spell his name. I hate how he spells his name. It's like, that doesn't look like Cain. I knew I could get you to do it. For the uninitiated, we love pro wrestling here. And the bishop, for some reason, he just loves the wrestler Kane. But anyway, so I was just trying to... There we go. I was trying to make him laugh and say his line. Anyway, though. Oh, where was I? Canaanites. The Canaanites. They had their own history and their own culture, and they acknowledge Azra. It's interesting, though, because they're slightly different. And I'm gonna address that right now. Azra, in the Canaanites' mythology, was their goddess of fertility. She was the mother of the gods. Now, according to the Canaanites, and by the way, disclaimer, because the Bible mentions the Canaanites used human sacrifice. The Canaanites deny this. All their records claim that they sacrificed animals. They did not sacrifice humans. So and I know that's a likely story. Like, what? No, we never did that. We're not taking sides. We're just telling the stories. Okay? But anyway, And just like the Hebrews mentioned these poles, the Asherim, the Canaanites had them actually and acknowledged them too. They were usually made of wood. And here's the thing that, again, just made me snicker and laugh. Because, again, keep in mind, when I was doing this research, the funny thing is, I wasn't drunk. But everything was just being funny to me. I was just thinking everything was silly and funny. Because, I mean, I opened up with an article called Asherah, the goddess of the poles. Like, you can't take that seriously. But anyway, the Asherims were these poles that they would plant in front of an altar. And the idea is that a couple who wanted to have a child would speak to a priest of Asherah. And she would kind of be like a council of basically how to have sex. She basically would give them sex ed, if that makes sense. And then they would do it before the altar of Asherah. And the idea was that if you could make, I'm not joking, if you could make the pole sway or wobble while you were doing it, that meant you had the blessing of Asherah and you would conceive a child. Now, I had this information along with the information in the Bible about the men lining up before the altars of Asherah. And for some reason in my head, my first thought just was, wow, that thing must have been going like a metronome. And I just lost it. I was laughing. I was so glad I was home alone because I was like, I could never explain this. Why I don't even know why I thought it was so funny, but it just popped in my head. The stick just swinging back and forth because of how many people were there. Every Christian in the chat is like, that's not funny. It's Cain. Talking about the queen of the demons. Asherah was not called the queen of demons in the Bible. The Canaanites didn't call her that. I believe, queen of demons, that's Lilith. And Lilith is from the Torah.
Lilith's not in the Bible at all.
Yeah, she's not mentioned in the Bible. There's just Adam and Eve in the Bible. Lilith is a Jewish legend, if I'm not mistaken. Mother of demons. Anyway.
Yeah, Lilith.
Where'd you find this one? she's not in the Bible.
It's all recent stuff that's been
Found. Yeah. Anyway, though. Our friends over at Gothic Therapy, I want to say Writing Raven, the wife of Master of Total Defense, she's mentioned Lilith before. I might have to actually bother her about that. Maybe in the future we could have her talk about it. But anyway, back to my point. Yeah, it became a big problem. And it's kind of funny because, like I said, from the third person perspective, the Canaanites were not so bad at first. They were just like, hey, you're in our desert too. And they kind of, they did what God said not to do. They tried to mingle with the Hebrews, and that was against the rules. And so it was a long time before they found the promised land. But unfortunately, even after the founding of Israel, the Canaanites weren't too keen on leaving the Hebrews alone. Cultists and priests and stuff of the Canaanite gods came into Israel and started trying to erect their own monuments and disrespected the altars of Yahweh and so on. The big bad one, and this is where we really get into Baal, was a princess Jezebel. And I'm 99% sure that that's actually how it's spelled. That's where the term calling an evil woman a Jezebel comes from. She married King Ahab, I believe it was. And she basically tempted him to welcome and allow the worship of these other gods in Israel, which, spoiler warning for the uninitiated, was strictly not allowed. It's kind of funny, actually. Everyone talks about how God is so mean in the Old Testament and stuff. It's like, I kind of have to defend him here. He gave very simple instructions, and the Israelites had a real hard time, sticking to these very simple rules that I don't feel are that unreasonable. I mean, again, playing devil's advocate, the Canaanites didn't seem that bad. other than that they were pushy and, yeah, they were breaking the laws of God. Okay. And yeah, fine, I get the idea. God is good. The enemy of God is bad. I'm willing to respect that opinion. But we're going to talk a minute here. The Canaanites weren't anywhere near the most evil people or characters in the Bible. And we're going to get to them in a minute. Anyway, not too much chaos. Just a little chaos. Good. Anyway, and again, Princess Jezebel is where we really hear about Baal. Now, as I mentioned before, Baal is both a name and a word. It means authority. If I understood it correctly, it's specifically a male authority, like a king or lord or... It's funny, one of the translations was husband, so... If you ever get mad at your husband, just call him Baal. But anyway, and Baal was a bit meaner, supposedly. Again, according to the Hebrews, he had blood sacrifices. Oddly, even in the Bible, it doesn't say human life, just blood. So I don't know about that. There was something about slashing their palms or something. But anyway, I'm going to try and stick to what I remember clearly. Princess Jezebel was exactly what she sounded like. She was a Jezebel. She only pretended to love Ahab. She wanted to take a stab at Israel and Yahweh. And so it was actually the prophet Elijah, who, by the way, again, not taking sides, I'm just going to say this. Elijah is like the original grumpy, angry old man that you do not want to mess with. All through the Bible, Elijah kicked the tar out of people. He was mean. Kind of cool, though. But anyway, and what's funny is God warned Elijah, stay on your guard here. Yeah, don't let the priests of Baal come into the promised land, drive them out, keep them out, but do not ever underestimate them. Okay, they are dangerous. Yes, Baal is not God. He is not the Lord of Israel. He is not your God. He is dangerous. And I want to say, in some translations, he compares Baal to a viper. That you can clutch at him, sure, and you could strangle it, but the viper could easily turn in your hand and bite you too. So you have to be wary. Be very careful with Baal. Baal is dangerous. But Elijah still challenged Princess Jezebel, and she called upon, I think it was 200 priests of Baal. Yeah, it was. She basically called an army of these cultists. And what's funny is Elijah was smart here because he was like, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, there's 200 of the buggers. I think it was 200. Maybe even 2,000 even. I know it was a 2 and there was a bunch of zeros after it. I think it was the 200 priests of Baal. So Elijah, knowing that he couldn't fight them, he challenged them to a competition. It's like, let's have a contest here. You pray to Baal and see if he can make this pile of dry reeds ignite on fire. I'll do the same and we'll see if Yahweh makes it ignite. And I have to give credit. Holy cow. 450. I was way off. Okay, look, the point is he was outnumbered. This was an army. She put an army of these priests against him, which, by the way, were they really priests? Because it sounds like an army of soldiers here. But anyway, so he challenges them to essentially a prayer-off. Sorry, my back is hurting. I should have gotten my pot. Actually, what was in here? I should have known better. Okay, a little bit better. Named after Sitting Bull. Yeah, Sitting Bull's cool. Anyway. So 200, 450, whatever, however many there were. The point is that he challenged Princess Jezebel, and so she had this army of priests. And he put it to a challenge. We each pray to our respective God, and we see who will ignite these piles of dry reeds. Now, here's the thing that I think is funny. Remember how I said Elijah was like the original grumpy old man who was just sick of your shit? He was. He was, because he outnumbered. Keep in mind, there's hundreds, however many were, there were hundreds of these priests. They had him surrounded. They agreed to do the challenge because they were like, well, obviously Baal's going to answer us, you know. But even in this circumstance, what does Elijah do? He talks shit. No, okay, this is the thing. So the priests of Baal gather and they pray and nothing happens. So Elijah starts making excuses. Oh, perhaps Baal is preoccupied, relieving himself. Perhaps he is unaware of the passing of the sun, meaning he doesn't know what time it is. Perhaps maybe we need to give him a moment to arrange himself, meaning he needs to get dressed. He just like goes after these dudes, making fun of them about Baal basically being a moron. And let's give the devil their due here. The priests of Baal were like, shut up, you stupid bald old man. They didn't attack him. They were mad. They were mad. And so he prays to them, to Yahweh. And to be fair, nothing happens at first. And so Elijah goes, okay, hold on. Let's make it more interesting. Let's do it again. But because you need it, because you need the help, Baal, I'm going to soak my reeds in water so they're not dry anymore. And the priests of Baal, I can only imagine they were like ready to just beat the tar out of this guy. Because, he was absolutely making them look like idiots. But yeah, no, they had some servants come and pour water over Elijah's reeds. And then once again, the priests of Baal pray. Nothing happens. And again, Elijah mocks them and makes fun of them. And then he goes and he prays. And I found two translations of this. In one version, the reeds just ignite on their own. In another version, fire comes down from heaven, strikes the reeds, and there's a big fire. And I personally think that there's something in between, because it's weird, because the fire comes down from heaven, or it just ignites, whichever one you want to prefer. Either way, Yahweh answers Elijah's prayers, even after the reeds have been soaked. So they're wet now. Wet reeds don't burn, well, as easily. I'm sure you could with enough fire. Anyway, and then it just immediately jumps to the next sentence that the priests were all put to death. And there's a lot of people who try and twist the Bible and say that Elijah killed them or Elijah had them killed. It doesn't say that. It just literally says that the priests of Baal were humiliated and they were put to death. Personally, it kind of sounds more like, did Jezebel have them killed because they failed her? Because, she was technically a queen then, which is funny. They call her Princess Jezebel, but she was married to King Ahab, so wouldn't she be the queen? I'm not exactly sure how it works, but yeah, she would have been a queen. She'd have the authority to order them killed, and they failed her. But yeah, and Baal continued to be a thing, especially Baal, all through the Old Testament. Usually it's in passing reference. There's very few big confrontations like we see with Elijah. Usually there's references and they took out. It's in Kings. Damn it! What verse was it? And they took out the unholy and the unclean from the temples, and they cast out the idols of Baal and the Asherims and stuff like that. I know I'm paraphrasing.
That happened a lot.
I know there were several times. The point is that it's funny because we see us shifting gears. Because at first the Canaanites weren't really hostile to the Israelites. They were actually kind of friendly. And they were like, well, hey, neighbor, you're in our land. That's okay. You want to check out our pole goddess? Which, by the way, so I looked up. The Canaanites had artifacts and paintings depicting Asherah. And I got to tell you, everyone makes jokes about the full-figured, dummy thick fertility pagan gods. Asherah was literally always depicted as this super skinny, frail thing. And it's like, I get you have the whole motif of poles, but dang, woman, eat a sandwich. There's some Canaanite who's just furious at me right now. But no, it's funny. I've actually looked up the artifacts because, again, this is not in a bubble. The Canaanites were people. They indeed worshipped Baal and Asherah, although they were very different. To be fair, the Canaanites. Spoiler warning: the Canaanites depict Baal as kind of this heroic god, actually. Lots of stories about him defeating monsters, and his big story was that he tricked death. And because he tricked and basically made a fool of death, he was crowned the king of the gods in the Canaanite lands. But yeah, in the Bible, he's a deceiver and a challenger, and he leads the Israelites to forsake the laws of God. Something that always bothered me is they don't say, because God warns Moses and the Israelites, be wary of Baal, be wary of Asherah, be wary of someone we're going to talk about here in a minute. Be wary of the Canaanites in general. They are foreign to you. Their laws are not your laws. What were the Canaanite laws? And again, I know that sounds kind of condescending and cynical, but I'm in pure curiosity, because it doesn't really talk about what they actually did, just that they did it. They worshipped something other than Yahweh. They didn't observe His laws. And again, we'll get to the big bad one here in a minute. But anyway, they never really go into detail about what it was that the Canaanites and Baal and Asherah did that was really so awful, other than that they obviously broke the laws of God, which I know, again, I've said it before, God equals good, and so obviously if you don't go with God, you're going in the other direction. So again, but I have to be honest with you, despite the infamy that they have, Asherah and Baal, they seem kind of low on the totem pole of evil. I mean, I guess Asherah was kind of a hedonist thing, sex in excess and taking the offerings away from the temple of Yahweh. Yeah, okay, I see it. It's evil. Baal was basically the same, except without the sex. Which, by the way, what a raw deal. I mean, sure, at least Asherah, you got prostitutes. Again, I'm almost afraid to look at the chat right now, because I just imagine every Christian is just like, that's not funny. It's funny to me. I think it's funny. Of course, I also have the mentality of a 13-year-old sometimes. But, holy cow, really? We've been at this an hour. Time flies when you're having fun making fun of ancient. Actually, Sean, help me out here real quick. The Canaanites, they were a Bronze Age, right? Were they Bronze Age? Sean brings a good point. That's kind of an unfair fight between Elijah and the priests. Burning bushes is Yahweh's specialty. Yeah, no, that was how he talked to Moses in Exodus. He spoke through the burning bush. That's actually a good point, Sean. Okay, I'll give you that one. Yeah, but no, Sean, real quick. The Canaanites, that was Bronze Age, right? The oldest profession in the world. Like I said before, we're not a political channel. I am not denouncing or advocating anything. I'm just saying the story. However, if you really want my opinion, and I'll give it to you, as long as everyone is consenting, and yes, that implies that they are able to consent, I have no judgment on it. You know what? If two people want to rock an altar, if you know what I'm talking about, and I think you do, and make a pole wobble, you know what, dude? That's really no one else's business. Again, I understand why in the Bible Asherah and Baal are considered evil. Yes, they lead people astray from God. They have different laws. Some of them are potentially very bad even. But like I said, it's like, on the subject of prostitution and stuff like that, it's no one else's business. And that's just my personal take. I'm not saying you're wrong if you think differently. I'm not looking for a fight. I'm just going to answer that question. The hell was that? Oh, anyway. Don't recall them being mentioned in the larger... Okay, so they may have been... Could they have been before the Bronze Age? What's before the Bronze Age? Is that the actual Stone Age? Because I know people use the joke Stone Age, but... I think it's funny, Mr. Bishop is like the one who's most on my side. They are credited as being in the Bronze Age. Okay, never mind. Okay, but anyway, because we actually are moving along for time here, I regret to inform you all that while we may have had fun snickering at Ashra, the goddess of the poles, or Baal and his ridiculous name, the jokes stop here. Because I promised you darkness, I promised you evil, and there's not much worse than who we're going to be talking about here in a second. And I'm kind of curious, actually, if anyone recognizes this name. Moloch. Anyone familiar with that name? I'm kind of expecting the bishop to say something here. Or, Mr. Bishop, excuse me. So, who or what the hell am I talking about? What is Moloch? For the record, there's a few different pronunciations of its name. I've heard Moloch. Neolithic era. That's okay. Neolithic era is before the Bronze Age. Neat. Anyway, though, Moloch is a very strange one. He is only mentioned 7 times in the Old Testament and once in the New Testament. But there's some kind of confusions. Some people argue it's a name. Other people say Moloch is kind of the polite way to say child sacrifice. And it's very interesting, too, because, again, almost everything we know about Moloch is just like the 4 horsemen. It comes from outside of the Bible. Specifically from... Hold on here. I actually wrote this one down. Yeah. He cropped up in pop culture around 1889 throughout 1939. So the 1890s to the 1840s, pretty much. That's where we actually hear a lot about him. In the Bible, he's only mentioned 8 times, actually. 7 in the Old Testament. And he's bad. Remember how before I mentioned God warned, stay away from the Canaanites, stay away from Baal, stay away from Asherah. Keep your distance from them. Don't even bother with them. Just stay away from them. That is not the case with Moloch. Moloch, God told Moses specifically, this thing, Moloch, is your enemy. You must turn and face him. You must turn and face his followers. If you see them in the desert, you must cut them off. Even among your own people. Even if you so much as just turning a blind eye, tolerating Moloch is just as evil. And they use some very specific terminology. God warns about passing your descendant through the fire of Moloch, or giving your seed to Moloch in flame and stuff like that. So, okay, what is he? Well, something to do with burning children. In the more modern times, he's depicted kind of as this big statue furnace thing. That, to be fair, is not in the Bible. We don't actually just get a description of what Moloch is, other than fire. It's by fire. So a lot of people say Moloch isn't actually a character or a creature. It's the act of child sacrifice. But it's weird because they also do kind of talk about it like a creature. Like, do not give your children to Moloch. Do not do not tolerate he who has given unto Moloch. It's really weird. And again, it's kind of a touchy subject, obviously. But he's only mentioned 7 times, and 1 time in the New Testament. And so there's all kinds of speculation about it. But yeah, we know for a fact it's something to do with setting children on fire, passing them through flame. But here's the thing I think is funny. Well, it's not funny, it's interesting. So the Hebrews claimed Moloch was a Canaanite god, that the Canaanites served him. Canaanites deny this. There's no Moloch in their history at all. There is something called Malk, MLK, but he was not. No, he was one of the children of the god of the underworld. Yeah, he was the son of Mot, the god of death in Canaanites. So, yeah, there's no connection here. And in fact, actually, there's contradictory information, because we've found, I want to say it was like there was like this urn or vase that depicted what looked like Canaanite soldiers fighting these people who were like protecting this fire. So there's kind of this question of, were the Canaanites also going after this Moloch thing? And I personally have a theory, because I'll explain here in a second. The last time we hear about Moloch is in 2 Kings 23-10. And that is where I actually took notes this time. Give me praise, okay? Damn it. Thank you, Bishop. Yeah, it has a weird description of... So basically there's this guy, King Josiah? Josiah. I was close. I get points for trying. King Josiah, who is this heroic war king. He is on a quest to drive the worshippers of Baal out, and he's searching the high and the low. And he specifically goes to a valley called Hinnom. He goes to the valley of Hinnom, looking for these priests of Baal. And he goes atop Mount Tophet. Tophet. I think that's how you pronounce it. I'm sure there's some ancient Babylonian scribe who's just like, it's pronounced there. You know what? Be offended. Okay? Be offended. Hang out with the guy in the bushes. Anyway, so King Josiah goes atop of Mount Tophet looking for Baal, looking for the worshippers of Baal. And then it mentions that he finds something up there. But it says, where's the actual... Hold on a second here. I'm going to look up the scripture myself. It's in Kings 2. Ah, there it is. Yeah. And then the king defiled the altars of Tophetif, which is, I guess, another name for the mountain, in the valley of Ben Hinnom, so none could ever again use it to sacrifice the sons and daughters to the fires of Moloch. That's all she wrote for Moloch. The name is mentioned again, but that's the last time that we hear Moloch mentioned, like something being spoken of. That's the end of Moloch. King Josiah apparently, whatever it was, if it was this elaborate machine or whatever that they talk about in later times, or if it was a practice or whatever, King Josiah is the one who actually puts it down. He destroys it. He defiles and defaces it atop this mountain. Which, by the way, real quick, and I'm sure I'm looking too deep into this, you know, I can't help but be reminded kind of Lord of the Rings with Gandalf fighting the Balrog of Moria. Yeah, didn't he yeah, it was toppled off the side of a mountain too, wasn't it? And I know Tolkien was a big Catholic man. I wonder if that was actually meant to be kind of like a reference or an inspiration to it. Because, you know, yeah, because Moloch was fire and the Balrog was basically fire. I wonder if there was actually a connection there.
Balrog.
Balrog. Yeah, that was like his. That was Catholicism specifically. He was a.
Not as much as Lewis did. Just
But yeah,
maybe.
I don't know. I'm just saying. Maybe I'm sure I'm looking too deep into it, but I kind of see a connection there. You know, the flames of Moloch were cast down the side of a mountain, and the flames of the Balrog were cast down a mountain. Again, I'm not saying they're like one-to-one analogies. I'm just saying I kind of see a similarity there. But yeah. And it's funny, too, because like I said, again, I get a gold... See? I get a gold star for trying, at least. What was that line from Pirates of the Caribbean? It's the Bible. You get points for trying. that was Pirates of the Caribbean. The second or third one. I can't remember which one. No, it wasn't one. It might have been two. I'm not sure, actually, because they were arguing about the Kraken.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was two. Anyway. Yeah, Mr. Bishop's heard of Moloch, yeah. Referenced in Leviticus and Kings, yeah. It's kind of funny, too, because, like, again, he lives in infamy. He's kind of like the Horseman. There's lots of him in pop cultures. They love to put him in video games, I've noticed, especially Japanese video games. They love to use him as a reference of some kind of, a demon or a villainous monster, things like that. You see him in a lot of Japanese RPG games. I'm not sure about Final Fantasy. I think he is named in Final Fantasy. Oh, Mortal Kombat. Yep, he was also. There was a character named Moloch in Mortal Kombat, who was actually a demon himself, if I recall correctly. Yeah, he was an Oni. But yeah, they were. That was Deadly Alliance. Ooh. Yeah, probably one of my favorite Mortal Kombat games. Actually, I loved that one. That was fun. That was the GameCube one. Anyway, though, yeah, why isn't that on Switch? Nintendo. We are so getting taken down now. Yep, there goes the bleeding ears. Yep, Funny, I mentioned Star Wars earlier. That was fine. I mentioned Nintendo. Suddenly everyone's afraid. Anyway, though. But that's Moloch. And I'm going to address it real quick here. I have a theory about Moloch. And I know I'm kind of going into some blasphemous territory. I personally think, I actually believe the Canaanites. I don't think they did worship Moloch. I think that whoever was doing it, whoever was doing these sacrifices by fire, it was someone that was trying to pit the Canaanites and the Hebrews against each other. Make them think that the other one was barbaric and stuff like that, Because, isn't it kind of funny that, King Josiah, he goes up this mountain looking for the priests of Baal, and what does he find? He finds Moloch. He destroys the altar of Moloch. Defaces it, defiles it, whatever you want to call it. I personally think there was some third party that was trying to frame both of them for being these barbarians and this monstrous thing. Because that's the funny thing. That's what I think is funny. When you take a step back and you look at the Canaanites' history and the Bible, both Hebrew and pagan were against whatever this fire dude was, whatever this fire stuff was. Even the Canaanites were opposed to it. And I don't know, that's just something I find personally interesting. I'm sure there's a lot, I'm sure most people would say, no, the Canaanites worshipped it. They just deny it because they're ashamed or something. Whatever. That's my personal theory. But there's one last real quick thing before we get into the hot sauces. Because remember, we're doing a hot sauce tasting, folks. It's kind of funny. I remember when we were doing the other one, when we did the hot sauces before with the Fuego box. That was the cannibals. That was the cannibal day. I remember I kept bringing it up, and I was trying to avoid it. I've actually been having fun talking about this stuff with you guys. I've actually been having a good time. I haven't even brought it up. I had to remind myself just now. But yeah, no, we have... these are hand-picked. We didn't get these from Fuego. That's still coming. But we specifically sought out ones that we thought would, and I will quote the bishop here. I'm gonna tattle on you, bishop. he specifically described, find the real ass burners.
It's true.
Did Moses or God say anything about not giving your ass unto the flames of Moloch? I don't want to be blasphemous. I'm kidding. The bishop looks ready to murder me. I'm kidding, of course.
No, there's nothing about that. Just don't kill your kids.
Yeah.
That's because Moses dropped the ball on that one.
Don't you have a coal mine to be haunting? Anyway, there is one. Oh, God! Hi, Choopy. Ow. Go play with those goats over there. Oh, God! Oh! Flying chupacabras. Oh, my God. It's a chupacabra-nado. No. No, 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 by the way. I know I said it. No. Drop it, Sean. I see you. I see you there, you little agent of chaos.
It's called Chupa Rain. It's kind of like Purple Rain, except with less copyright.
I hate how I like that name, actually. Anyway, there's one last thing we're going to talk about before we get into the hot sauces. Because we actually are blowing through time here. There's a rumor I need to dash. I'm going to dash this rumor apart in the mountains just like King Josiah dashed Moloch across the mountain. I have always stated that I am a card-carrying member of the dark side, which has led to a misconception by some people that I hail Satan. Let me just say this right now. I am cutting this off right now. Absolutely not. Okay? No. I do not, in any way, shape, or form, hail Satan or I don't even like the character. All right? And I have ammunition here. Here we have my renditions of the lost pages from the third act of The King in Yellow. Don't look too closely at it. Disclaimer, we are not responsible for any bleeding of the eyes that may result from looking at the screen right now. But I want to put this very clearly. It says it right here. Right here. I don't know if you can read Corcosan, but I'll translate for you. Saith the Lordy, the devil is a loser, and he's my bitch. Yes, I am a card-carrying member of the dark side. I love all monsters. I love breasts, blood, and beasts. I rock out with the villains. I'd even trust Umbrella Corporation. Anyway, though. But no. Satan is not cool enough. Oh, sorry. Sorry, Famine. Accidentally smacked my dog. I'm sorry. Come here, girl. Okay? Satan is not cool enough to be on the dark side. Okay? He is not allowed to sit at the table with the cool kids like me. And I would go so far, and I can do this because I'm an ordained priest. I am, look it up. I hereby, officially, on the internet so it lives forever, I'm saying this now, I personally denounce the very concept of Satan and hereby strip him of the title Prince of Darkness, which I will personally hold on to until a more worthy individual comes along. So, who rules? Thank you. God, somebody. I got that reference. There you go, Sean. See, Sean gets it. He's a chaos monger. But anyway, now that I have rightfully taken, temporarily, my title as Prince of Darkness, I say it's time for us to sally forth. Sally forth. I know this is your fault somehow. Sally forth and have some hot sauces. Choopy, Give us a screen cover so we can get ready. Oh, wait, you're over here. Hold on. Get over there. There. Now fix it. Screen. Oh, God, there. Fuck. Are we back? Can you hear us? Chat? Wait, what's this? Tara! You can't challenge me for the title of Prince of Darkness. You're not even a prince! You sick freak! It's my title until someone worthy is found. So there, that's canon. Hello. Oh yeah, by the way, so we have our good buddy DJ Scraps here. You You might remember him last time from our last hot sauce tasting. He's the one who didn't give himself a facial. You want to...
That would actually be me.
Okay, hey, we can actually see you here. Let me scooch over a little bit. There we go. Like the Three Stooges. Everyone just kind of moves over. Hey, buddy. Alrighty. So, our first one, you're the kind of the expert in hot sauces, so let's actually look at what we got here, and then what do you think we should be doing first? So this is a tiger sauce. That's a cayenne and red chili.
Yeah, it kind of looks like almost like sweet and sour, in my opinion. It's got that kind of same consistency, same color.
Not sponsored, by the way.
No, we're not sponsored. And this is not Fuego Box. This has been mentioned before.
Yeah.
But it smells like a Tabasco. So.
Uh-oh. Well, now hold on. I kind of like Tabasco.
Well,
Now we have bread, right? Yeah, there's the bread.
Yeah, we have bread.
Let me get a whiff of this. Not the bread.
So these are hot sauces that we bought from the
smells like
store,
yeast.
and none of us have ever had these.
Oh,
before, so-
mama. Whew. That smells kind of sour.
Don't shake it.
Don't shake
I
it.
won't.
We gotta be careful with this one.
So he shoves his nose in it.
You okay over there? All right. So pull out some bread. And let's. Are we gonna have this one first? You think?
Well, we're talking about it. Might as well.
Might as
It
well.
doesn't sound too spicy, to be honest.
Well, see, I'm scared
See, I
of
don't-
cayenne.
I don't think it'll be that spicy because it said on the little neck piece that it was super sweet. So
Sean had a great idea. Okay, Tara, if you want to take from me the title Prince of Darkness, you have to beat me in a fiddle contest. I mean, you might be able to beat me in a fiddle contest. I'm not very good. Anyway, all right. Hold on. Now, for the uninitiated, you make sure the lid is on tight. We're gonna make fun of you so bad.
let's here you go.
Shake it up for us, baby.
Shake the devil out of it.
I like how he puts his thumb over just to be sure, like we would lie to him. Alrighty. Here we go, boys and girls. It looks runny. Oh dear. And there's actually seeds in this. I don't know if you guys can see it from the camera or if you can hear us. Eventually we're gonna get a sponsorship from a hot sauce and no one's gonna believe us. This is tiger sauce. And I don't know if you can see it, but yeah, it has little seeds in it. And this is a crushed red chili pepper and cayenne.
Red cayenne, yeah.
Is there other kinds of cayenne?
It's green.
Oh, I didn't know that. Anyway, then.
Cheers.
Cheers.
All right.
Heaven help us.
1, 2, 3.
Oh, it is sour.
It's like a sweet and sour sauce.
Oh,
See, that's what I said. Like, it just looks like a sweet and sour sauce, and it kind of tastes like McDonald's sweet and sour with extra steps.
extra sour. I'm getting really sour. It does burn too, by the way, for the record. Oh, mama!
Not really.
I wouldn't say it's that hot, no.
Screw both of you.
Surprisingly, for a cayenne sauce, this isn't that hot.
Yeah, okay.
I would almost put this as just mild. I wouldn't
Yeah?
even call this a hot sauce.
No, I'm getting a sting.
This
Kind of like
is-
the Clark Kent of hot sauces.
Mild-mannered.
This is slightly above McDonald's sweet and sour sauce that you dip your nuggets in.
Again, I'm getting a heat and a spice, and it is kind of hurting a little. It's a little bit of pain, but
It's not necessarily bad. It is actually good. It's just not
sour.
spicy.
I'm getting sour. I'm getting really
I mean-
sour.
I personally am not a fan, but I'm not really that much of a fan of sweet and sour sauces anyway. So, I mean, I guess I'm a little bit biased in that.
See, I personally love sweet and sour sauces, but
See, I usually like them, but
I would say, honestly, this would be really good. I don't think this is a good hot sauce by itself. I think this would be a really good hot sauce for like cooking something. It says good for seafood. I could see it being good for something like shrimp or something like that.
that would be good when you're
for
stir-fries.
what is it called? A cocktail sauce.
Yeah, cocktail sauce, like a shrimp cocktail.
That's what I'm
Mixing
picturing.
it, mixing it into the cocktail sauce, giving it a little bit of a kick. Yeah, maybe. Depending on the stir fry. Yeah.
If you do like a shrimp one.
Oh, shut your mouth, you little chaos-mongering dwarf. won't survive the winter. I'm the Prince of Darkness. It's not really that bad. I'm getting a sting, but it's not anywhere near like what we did with the Fuego boxes. It's sour. It's really freaking sour.
Honestly, like, it probably hurts a little bit less than doing that.
Oh, mother!
See, I like it. I personally actually like it. Not my favorite hot sauce by far, but
Oh, no.
a lot better than some of the ones we've had.
Okay, so now...
I think that favorite hot sauce still has to go to the Hot Hive for me. That was a really, really good honey-based Carolina Reaper sauce. Super tasty. Neither of these guys could handle it.
My favorite hot sauce... Honestly, there was that Bull Shark one.
Yeah, I remember you guys liked the Bull Shark. That was a good one.
See, I really liked Bullwhip hot sauce.
Yeah, the Bullwhip?
We didn't do it on the show, but I really love that one. That's the best hot sauce I've had.
That was one of the first hot sauces that we had gotten, actually, like way back when we started doing the Fuego box. A couple of years ago, actually.
Yeah.
4 years ago?
Something like that, yeah.
Fun side note, the Bullwhip is the only one that we actually have gone out and specifically bought after Fuego, too. But I really like that Ghostly Hollow.
Oh,
we need to get more. We definitely need to get more of that.
And the Funky Fox that we tried last time on the show.
The Funky Fox was delicious. We've actually used up that entire bottle since the last time that we did the hot sauce tasting, and like it's probably been in every single meal that we've made. So.
Oh yeah, but anyway, next up we have, what is this? Horsetooth?
Horsetooth hot sauce. Even though this is, I would say like a PG-13 show, it's called the O Face.
Oh, but buddy, did you not hear what we were talking about with Ashra?
No, I was asleep.
Oh, okay.
He wasn't asleep. He just woke up.
Yeah, he's been asleep.
I woke up specifically to watch these two suffer.
Now, tell us, because Bishop, you were the one who found the horse tooth.
Yes.
Tell us about it.
I found the horse tooth and the next one. I work at a farmer's market grocery store, and it's just a hot sauce that I've seen for the last few months, and I've been wanting to get it. And I was actually the one who brought up this hot sauce tasting thing that we're doing now. And I said there's two hot sauces at work that I really want to get, so I got the horse tooth and then this next one that we're going to try.
But anyway, so what is it? What pepper goes in this one?
This is habanero.
Yep.
And I think there's a little bit of scorpion or Carolina Reaper, I think.
Let's see. Orange habanero. Nope, just straight habanero hot sauce. It has cantaloupe in it.
Ooh!
Actually,
Which is different.
Take this back. You can have the butt.
Of course. You butthead. Anyway.
Yeah, that first one, not very hot at all. This one?
Yeah, it kind of smells. It definitely. It's got that habanero smell to it.
Does it smell like it'll be hotter?
Kind of a vinegary smell. I'm getting vinegar. Shake it up. Shake that one up really good.
I did shake it up.
Oh no, because when I was checking it over, the bottom was congealing with seeds and stuff. So
no, I shook it up. I've been shaking it since.
Shake it what your mama gave you.
It kind of smells like
hat.
Tabasco, which I'm not a big fan of Tabasco. It's just generic vinegar and pain. So the smell is kind of disappointing to me.
Tara has officially won the chat. She warned that these hot sauces are going to make the pole wag. I get the insult.
I just want to know who put a tiny little.
Look at that.
Like little cap.
Teeny tiny.
Freaking chunky hot sauce.
Are you supposed to only have a little bit of it? I don't know.
Oh, it's like you can.
Oh my!
This was also $13.
Holy mother!
The next one was about $7.
Which is about the average price for a bottle of hot sauce, actually.
So this
oddly
one,
enough.
See, it looks like it'll be sweet.
No, it's not going to be sweet.
It smells like it's going to be very vinegary.
Yeah, it's going to be vinegary and spicy because.
Oh boy.
It's pure habaneros.
Yeah.
Oh, Razoth helped me. Razoth be with me.
Yeah, a little chunk there.
Yeah, I got a seed there too.
Yeah, itty bitty chunklet.
All right.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I think it's going to be like a painful Tabasco.
Yeah.
Well,
let's see.
Just to be sure, hold on. We'll say the magic words. Klaatu, Barata. It was an N-word. It was an N-word, wasn't it? Klaatu, Barata. Yeah, so we're good?
Cheers.
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 Oh. Oh, go. Oh.
Oh, that is sour.
Oh, God.
Not a fan.
Hey, no. I said it honest. Oh, God. Oh.
Oh, this is spicy though.
Oh.
It's got a bit of a burn to it.
Yeah, a bit of a burn for you. For us, this is a little bit more spicy.
Oh. Oh, mother. Yeah. I'm just waiting for them to all laugh at me. Oh. Silence. Do not mock the Prince of Darkness.
Yeah, here's the spice. This one definitely has the spice. But yeah, very vinegary. Better than Tabasco, but not by much.
Oh.
To be honest, all I really taste is vinegar. I think that's probably like my least favorite hot sauce I've tasted.
All three of us made funny faces according to Mr. Bishop.
Yeah, it's pretty much vinegar and pain.
Mm-hmm. Mm. Oh, it hurts. It stings. Ah.
It's like a really cheap, angry pickle.
We need to chase it with this, because this wasn't really spicy at all.
Chase you off my freaking show. Oh.
I mean, it's got like a little bit of a kick to it. It's kind of like slowly ramping up for me, but like it's not.
We've had a lot worse.
Oh yeah,
We have, but it hurts.
I don't remember if I talked about it on.
Oh, look who's laughing, Tara! Screw you and your Screw you and your fiddle. Oh.
See, I don't remember if we talked about it on the last time we did a hot sauce tasting, but a long time ago, like I think it was like our 4th or our 5th box that we had gotten. We got this hot sauce called Exceedum.
Oh yeah, we mentioned this.
We
one.
mentioned
Yeah.
it vaguely. Tell them the tale of Exceedum.
So Exceedum was a habanero hot sauce. I think it was like habanero and scorpion pepper
I am actually
and
sweating.
pineapple.
Oh,
It lingers. It lingers.
it's not leaving. It's like the damn Canaanites in Israel.
What was crazy about it was that was the most painful hot sauce I have ever personally tasted in my entire life. The pain could only be described as instantaneous cup of bees just being poured into your mouth.
Angry.
Angry bees. I would say more like hornets. You know,
Angry hornets.
It was brutal. The Exceedum was brutal.
Probably the most painful hot sauce I've ever had, and it wasn't spicy pain. It was stinging, angry pain.
And
Yeah.
that's this guy saying pain and spicy.
This guy who's like almost indestructible.
And
We don't have any ice cream, Mom.
he's the one who me and Kristoff were like, oh, this is really hot, and he's like, oh, this is perfect. So just imagine if he says it's pain. Just imagine how bad it was for
Oh.
Kristoff and myself.
Okay, now
It's starting to go away.
it is starting to go away.
I
I
like
was
the
looking
tiger.
forward to this one.
Just eat a just blank piece of bread.
I like the tiger way better because this not too spicy,
Yeah.
actually sweet and actually not good, not bad. I like it.
I think the tiger could be used more effectively.
So Tara, it was actually really good. It was like once we actually started like cooking it into stuff instead of just eating it like straight out, it actually turned out to be really good because like when you got past this really spicy bit of it, it was actually pretty super fruity and kind of citrusy. It was really nice.
Now, is this the one that said it had cantaloupe? Because I didn't taste cantaloupe at all.
No, all I tasted was vinegar and
Pain.
Yeah, vinegar and pain.
vinegar.
This guy.
We're not sponsored, but
Don't buy that.
an over glorified Tabasco.
Way too much.
Slightly better, but not enough to pay the extra like $5 more than Tabasco.
There's a lot of hot sauces we've tried with the Fuego boxes that I would gladly have again before that.
Yeah, that's.
I feel bad knowing how much you spent on that.
Oh, there was another one that we had bought separate. Remember the ancho chili sauce? That super smoky like hot sauce.
Yeah,
Was
the
that
one that
from
we put in
Fuego?
ramen a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
We had gotten that one in a Fuego box, and then we started just buying it ourselves because it was so tasty.
My sister claims she knows a place that makes ghost pepper ice cream.
And you're not getting any for us. Why?
Yeah, why don't you get us some, Tara? Calls herself says she wants my title of Prince of Darkness and she won't even give us ice cream.
Mm-hmm.
What in blazes?
Everybody knows that the dark side has ice cream and cookies, and if you don't provide, then you're not part of the dark side at all.
Exactly. You're not cool enough to be on the dark side.
Here, hold on. I need you to shake this up. Here you go.
All right. I saw what you did. Awesome.
Now,
I adhere to the light side more than the dark side, but
that's okay. Actually, I was going to say something. I had an idea. As the Prince of Darkness, and I am the Prince of Darkness, I propose a truce. What do you say? Put her there, buddy.
High five.
Oh, wow! Declaration of war! I was trying to be nice. I was going to say, tell you what, you can bring over the values and the principles from your light side. I'll supply the big titty werewolf vampire girlfriends. How's that sound? Come on, quarterback.
the light side could have big titty werewolf girlfriends too.
Yeah, but you don't. That's why I always make fun of you guys.
That's very weird. This doesn't really smell like anything.
See, there were okay.
Mr.
So,
Bishop is calling us out. Cookies and ice cream when?
no, this is a sweet smelling florally verde sauce actually.
I mean, like I'm not.
No, Sean.
I'm not a member of either side. I'm a member of the side that provides the most chaos at the time. So, I am a purveyor of convenience.
Okay,
And
let me smell
both
this.
sides do provide a lot of chaos.
It's
at
true.
the times. No, okay.
It really doesn't smell like anything.
See, I smell floral verde. It smells like it would go really good with some eggs, like some over easy sunny side up eggs. Okay, so
Slightly, I slightly am getting something flowery. But anyway,
Yeah, kind of, sort of. But
like I said, I was kind of looking forward to this one, and this one is ghost peppers and what?
jalapenos. It's a tomatillo base with jalapenos and ghost peppers.
Now this is a company called For the Win. It's gaming themed. There was 3 at my work. This one says hard for the level. There was one, it said level easy, level medium, level hard. So I take that as the spicy one, so I got this one. Both because it says hard and because it's verde. I love verde sauces.
Oh, hey.
Kristoff loves verde sauces too.
This is a homegrown hot sauce here in Colorado.
Oh, nice.
From Fort Collins. That's
Oh,
cool.
yeah, neat.
And this is the one I'm personally most excited for.
I'm excited for it too.
Well, it's his turn to get the first dab.
Yeah.
So.
And yeah, I'm getting.
I'm just waiting for the. I'm just waiting for the tragedy.
Darth Plagueis the Wise, or
No, that's about how you're going to splash yourself in the face or something.
Ugh.
Okay, come on. For the record, yes, I am legitimately sweating from that last one.
Yeah, the roof of my mouth is still like raw from that last one. That was.
Silence, kobold!
I have 5 fingers. I'll give you 4 that are polite. All right.
Hold on.
See, it's really weird. It still doesn't just smell like anything.
See, I'm getting a floral scent.
I kind of am too, but it's like it's weak.
That could be a good thing.
It's weak, like Kristoff's palate.
I like a little bit of spice, but I like flavor spice.
Get back in your coal shaft, you little bastard.
You're the one that invited me out here. You made this bed. Now you get to sleep in it.
Oh, go make an ashram wobble. You would get what I was saying if you were watching the show. Anyway, cheers!
Cheers.
Hum.
Yeah.
Cool. That's that lime juice.
Ah! That is sour.
I'm kind of digging it. No, hear me out. Picture that on some fajita meat. Oh, mama!
There is no spice to this at all.
No, not even a little bit.
That is pure sour.
Well, if you look, the second ingredient on it is lime juice. So it's literally tomatillos and lime juice.
Yeah, that is just pure, like, just sucking a lime. There's no heat at all.
There's a little bit for me,
I mean,
but even less than the tiger.
Yeah, even less than the tiger. There's almost no heat at all on this.
That's really freaking good.
Disappointing.
That would go good on some tacos.
That's what I just said. Put that on some
This-
fajita meat.
Yeah, I would say this would go good on some like taco meat. Yeah,
Bring Jesus over to make some tacos with that.
I hate I hate ghost pepper hot sauces though because this is always the same thing that happens with every one of them. They're like, oh, we put ghost peppers in our hot sauce. It's going to be super spicy. You're going to suffer. No, never. It never happens. The Serrano hot sauce was hotter than the ghost pepper hot sauce.
I have to agree.
That's disappointing.
See, me personally, it makes me want to try the other ones. You said there were 2 others, and they were lower than that one?
According to their gamer level score, yeah.
That sounds good to me. Holy cow.
I don't know. That's not.
It's funny, I used to, growing up, I hated citrus. I love a good lime juice, especially on beef.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be honest. I'm actually disappointed in that one a little bit.
I am too.
I don't
I'm
get
a
you.
little sad.
Get out of here with that garbage. This is good.
Spice-wise, yeah, it's good. It's not that spicy. but
It literally
tastes-
literally just tastes like somebody just put lime juice in a glass bottle to me, honestly.
Yeah, it's like sucking a lime.
I can actually eat it, you little pricks.
I think it would be good on like some tacos, fajitas.
That's the only reason why he likes it is because he can stand it.
I know!
Egg,
Shocking concept! I don't like being in pain. You want pain? Go talk to Jeff, okay? Go over to Russia and talk to Jeff. Shout out, by the way, to our dear, sweet, sadomasochistic friend, Jeff, over in Russia.
Thank you for the art.
Wonderful guy.
You need to hire him again.
It's funny. I keep saying this, I would not expect someone described as a sadomasochistic Russian to be probably the most professional, patient artist I've ever worked with. He was really patient and very, especially considering there's a language barrier between us. But anyway, I like that. I'm actually having a second helping. It's actually good. It doesn't hurt.
All right. This, by far, in my opinion, the best. This, I put second just because it's not pure pain, but it just tastes like sucking a lime.
Mm.
This was just vinegar and pain, so...
Yeah.
This one, the one Kristoff got that I thought was going to be generic and the worst, actually turned out to be the best, and I really like that one.
Leg fell off.
Oh, dear.
Our pets' heads are falling off!
Honestly, I would have to say, yeah, I think in terms of flavor, I think the tiger sauce is probably the best one out of all of these. I would probably give this trio of hot sauces maybe like a 2 out of 5 in terms of everything that all the other hot sauces that we've tried. Because there have been a lot of hot sauces that we've tried, and there's a lot that taste way better than all of these.
2 out of 5, 3 out of 5, just because I do think it would be good with stuff. 2 out of 5, 3 out of 5, because I think it would be good with stuff.
3.5?
I'll give it a 4, maybe 5.
Ooh.
It's
Generous rounding.
it's good, but it's not the best we've had. But I do like it. It is good.
I will be right back.
Oh,
Oh no,
I'm scared. Does he have a surprise?
I know where he's
No,
going. He's
no
going for
surprise.
that little lizard kobold hot sauce that we just bought the other day. I bet.
Wait a minute.
The cilantro
No
lime.
one said anything about a 4th bottle.
The cilantro lime little kobold. Little yellow lizard and cilantro. We got it in a Fuego box years ago. I bet he's getting a 4th hot sauce.
Not part of the act, folks. Not part of the act.
It is now.
Mother.
It is now.
Oh, God,
Oh, no.
he has 2.
Yeah, he does have the little kobold.
So we got this other one right here that I'm actually surprised they didn't bring out because it's delicious.
I didn't know we got that.
It's a habanero lime pepper sauce. We got it in a Fuego box a long time ago, and it's probably one of my favorite ones because it actually tastes good. It's like this. It's like the habanero horsetooth mixed with that lime sauce, but it doesn't taste like disappointment.
And the reason I didn't bring this out is because we have had this one before.
We did.
And we just found it in the store like less than a week
A couple
ago.
weeks ago.
Mhm.
At most, yeah.
And
Oh, very funny, Tara. Oh, she's saying
Yeah.
dun dun dun. I thought she was saying dum dum dum, and I'm like, oh, screw you.
And the other one is because I know that you guys like watching him suffer, so I brought out the hottest hot sauce that we have, which is my Scorched Hot High Reserve, which is a honey Carolina Reaper sauce.
Which the funny thing is, this is just slightly above halfway of the worst that we've had hot-wise. I actually like this one when mixed with like...
Laugh it up, Mr. Bishop, by the way.
I'll put this in like ramen.
Crying,
or, like,
laughing
beans
here.
Or something.
These are my fans. You're supposed to be on my side. You're supposed to be my acolytes here. Don't take their side. What did you do? I felt something.
He put a wiener on your head.
Hey, wait. This might be a good look for me. Oh, what? I felt. Stop. You're messing with my hair. What little hair I have. What in... I hate you both. Go play. Be good.
See, this smells like a hot sauce. It's supposed to smell.
Oh!
This is how a hot sauce is supposed to be.
I see. Stop putting things on my head.
Never.
He's my new favorite.
Yeah. That's
Who's he? What are you talking?
me. All right, you guys ready?
What?
I feel something on my head.
No, there's nothing on your head.
Oh yeah, you got a hat on.
We here at the Vagrancy Horror are now taking applications for new audio and editorial work. Cheeky little...
Here you go. Here you go.
Oh, thank you, Tara. It's so nice to have you in my corner. Such and... Stop it!
All right, so we have had this before. I don't remember it too much. Ooh, that's very smoky, actually.
Oh, be careful, Mr. Bishop. He's got a thunderstorm overhead.
Ooh, nice.
Oh, nice. Now, we might get one in like an hour or so. I'm not
Maybe.
sure.
Yeah, our thunderstorms have kind of shifted over to the nighttime, which is really nice because it's really nice to fall asleep to.
Oh, yeah, I love storms when I'm not in them. The one in the middle... Oh!
Hi.
You're the favorite now.
That's awesome because I used to be the weird one.
No, this is with my sister. My mother's the one that said you were the one with the weird thing on your head.
Yeah, the weird one. That's...
And you, Mr. So, quick context. The first time my mother ever saw either of these lunatics... Tower of Brettle. Shut up! Anyway, the first time my mother ever saw them, she didn't know who they were, so she had to describe them. He had a hat of some kind on, and so she called him the one with the weird thing on his head. But my dear sweet mother describes this one specifically as the cute one. I'm not the cute one. I'm her freaking son. I'm not the cute one. Love you guys too. Anyway. Horror movie reference here. Come on.
Cheers.
Good, cheers. I did it.
Yeah, I remember that one. I do remember this one. This was actually a really good one.
Oh, yeah. Okay, there's the pain.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, but it has flavor, though. I like it.
It tastes like a hot dog. Screw you.
It has flavor. There's pain, but it has flavor, so yeah.
Oh, God. I fucking
So it's almost like a smoked hot sauce.
Oh, what the God! Oh, God! I am crying over here, you bastard! You know, you're pretty close to it. Oh, God damn! I'm out of cold!
Holy. Oh gosh, okay, this one's bad.
Oh,
Price-wise.
I can't read the chat.
I did it again. Can I have the juice?
No, the juice is all gone.
Okay, yeah, that one's actually the most painful one.
Oh, oh, I sound like Nicolas Cage. Oh, take
Okay.
it. Take it. Oh.
Okay, this one's actually really painful.
Oh yeah, by the way,
What is all this in my cup?
your name is Prancer.
Yeah, I know. Ow.
Ah. Ah.
So people don't know I have a... Explain it. Ow. I'm in pain. That's actually real bad.
Stop hyperventilating.
Doesn't that help?
That's for me. Wow, that was bad.
Oh, what do you mean water? Sure is.
That is really good flavor-wise, but it's bad.
No, it's not. Y'all need some milk.
Meanwhile, I'm just sitting here like.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, they forgot to buy milk. They wanted to do the hot sauce tasting tonight, and they forgot to buy milk.
I am actually crying.
I
Oh,
am too.
Stop drinking the thing with citric acid in it.
God damn it, Silver. Where's my water?
Water only makes it worse.
I need something, you son of a bitch.
Eat some bread. I mean, I don't know what these two are going on about. My nose is running a little bit, but where it's running to, I have no idea.
I feel like I have no skin on the roof of my mouth.
Oh. My lips and my tongue are tingling.
You sweet summer child.
Prince of Darkness activities. Screw you. I'm still the Prince of Damn Darkness. You little Kangle, chaos-mongering, shoe-stealing dwarf.
And you guys talk about hell. Just imagine how worse that would be.
Okay, Faith Boy.
A duck.
It's funny too, because out of the two that I brought out,
We have a question. Tara wants to know how much did that cost?
which one?
The
The
liquid
one we just
hellfire.
had.
Oh, this one? It's like $8. Yeah, it's not expensive at all.
Yeah, where
honestly.
did you get it?
King Supers, actually. Here.
Yeah, show him.
It's not focusing, but it's called Golden Toad. Orange habanero and lime.
I know this is weird. It almost feels like my mouth is bleeding.
Mm-hmm. It really does.
I honestly don't know what these guys are going on about. Of course, then again, they keep on telling me that I have calluses on my taste buds, so.
Yo, dumb. Oh, I'm actually feeling a little bit nauseous.
Okay.
Well, I was going to have them try my hot hive again, but honestly, if you can see it, how red his face is, he's kind of starting to look like a cherry tomato, so.
You look like a hot dog.
That stuff tastes like a hot dog.
Excuse me.
Ugh.
It just hurts to breathe.
It's I don't understand what you guys are going on about.
I
honestly.
seriously feel nauseous.
You feel nauseous?
Yeah.
Okay, it's getting better, but yeah, I feel like the top of my mouth has been skinned.
It's getting a bit better, but yeah, that's how I would describe it.
Oh.
What a prince. Yes, I... Mother. You know what? You know what, Tara? Climb up the mountain and come find me. Okay? And say that to my face. I'm not even up a mountain. I'm freaking out in the desert.
Alright, I'm good. Most.
I am both proud of you, Sean,
Oh,
and
no.
also am going to have furious vengeance upon you.
Oh no. Yamcha got Yamcha'd.
Prince Crybaby. Screw you!
Well, let's see Sean come and do it. Let's see you come and do it, Sean.
Yeah, come on. Come on. Come up here, you little son of a...
Come sit with
We
me.
have the same mother.
Come-
Come here, you little freaking shoe-stealing chaos dwarf. Did I ever tell you guys that
Come
story?
and sit with me. We'll have a little contest to see who can handle it.
Yeah. Yeah, come on. Come on. Yeah, y'all are talking all that good shit that I'm not the Prince of Darkness. First of all, I am. Second of all, I can't hear you from all the way down there, down on, oh God. Oh, my balls!
More like the Prince of Darkness.
Good night, everybody! We're doing this, aren't we?
I'll leave it up to you guys. Do you want to do it?
What do you say, folks? You want to see the Prince of Darkness and his obnoxious minions suffer some more? Who's with me?
I will.
Me!
I will let you guys know that this actually is a hot sauce that's made me suffer before. So,
And we were talking about Jeff earlier. Again, shout out to Jeff.
Hey, Jeff.
Does he even watch our shows?
Okay, real quick. So while the bishop recovers, let me tell you a little story of my mythos. So me and my sister and Sean, we all lived together, for a while. There was something, I don't remember what happened. Stop putting stuff on my
I
head!
didn't put anything on your head.
Stop touching my hat!
I just want to touch your hat, dude. Go on.
No! Get your own damn hat. Anyway,
don't
so
wear
I don't remember what happened. But my sister and Sean had a fight. I'm not going to credit it. They had an argument about something. And my sister, she went to bed. Siblings have arguments, they fight. It's not a big deal, right? Yeah. Yeah. Well, anyway, Sean didn't decide he was going to let it go. He went and specifically, I see you in the reflection, specifically, he went out to cause as much chaos as possible for my dear sister. And he didn't hide her shoes. He took one shoe. Just one shoe, and hid it from her to cause as much chaos and calamity. We literally were looking probably... And the sad part is we actually had to go into town for something. This was when we lived in Louisiana. God, I think we were going to get a prescription or something from the drugstore. But anyway, so this was like the worst time for her to lose her shoes because we need to go. We need to go. And Sean, the master of just causing as much confusion and calamity as possible. You really are, you little son of a
I
bitch.
got a question about Sean. Does this
Hold
guy
on.
believe in aliens?
For context, he was a small child. No. Okay, you are bound to hold this, Sean. This little chaos monkey stole one of her shoes, so we are spending probably 15, 20 minutes because we need to go to the damn drugstore and get this prescription. And Sean, finally, after we literally are tearing up the house, the only place we didn't look was in the room that me and Sean shared. Because, why would it be there? Sean nonchalantly says, "Oh, I hid it in my room." Why did you hide it in your room? Why did you hide my shoe? Because you made me mad.
So, like, talking about, like, sibling rivalries and stuff. So, me and my brother...
oh, yeah, for context, he offered to help us look around the house for it, by the way.
Sounds about right.
Anyway, you have a story about chaos siblings.
Yeah, so me and my brother, like, constantly fought. There was a day, I don't remember what we had been fighting about, but it was in about, I think it was like 1993. During the winter, I was living out in the country with him and my stepmom, and he blindsided me with a camping sleeping bag, tied it up, and dragged me out into our 4-acre yard in the middle of a blizzard and left me there. I had to, like, and keep in mind, I was only like 7, so I was about, yay tall. And the snow, like, this is one of, like, our, like, Midwest plains blizzards where the snow was about yay high at the time. So he tossed me out in the yard, and I think he only tossed me, like, maybe just out past our porch. It took me, like, 15 minutes to dig my way back inside.
Okay, so we've gone from causing chaos of stealing shoes to attempted murder.
I have a good one about my brother.
I mean, if your siblings aren't trying to kill you at least once, are they really your siblings?
My sister used to grab me by the ankles and swing me around like a what's the thing they throw in the Olympics? The ball?
The hammer toss?
Hammer toss. Like,
Yeah.
she would swing me around like a hammer toss, and then she'd let go.
I mean, my sister, like, she would grab you by the shirt and walk up your body.
Oh,
and kick you in
shut
the
up,
head.
Sean! No one wants your opinion. No one wants to be wrong. I'm not going to justify that with reading it out loud.
He said I was about as tall as Nash is now.
For context,
Snap,
Nash
snap,
is my
snap.
middle name, by the way. Anyway.
Burn! That's worse than my mouse burning.
I would say that's worse than this, honestly.
All right, real quick one about my brother. It's kind of a happy one. I was like 4. He was like 18. My dad, in the chat, you can attest this. I was, again, like 4. There was some construction down the road, dump truck. Hey, my dad got the dump truck to bring dirt and dump it in our yard, so we had this mound of dirt in the yard. My brother decided to dig a hole on top of it, put me in it, and I vaguely remember it, but I remember for whatever reason I got scared and I was crying, and my dad took a picture of it. But my brother didn't mean anything bad by it. He was just like, oh, hey, this cool little hole. I'm going to put my little brother in it.
Well, I mean, who
Love you,
doesn't,
James.
who doesn't try to plant their sibling, right? Or hurl them across the yard or bury them in snow?
He didn't even try to bury me. He's just like, well, I dug a hole. You're in the hole. I'm just like,
dig a hole, dig a hole, dig a hole. Dig a hole, dig a hole, dig a hole.
And I'm digging a hole, diggy, diggy hole, diggy, diggy hole. All right, let's do this. Let's just do this. To prove that I am the rightful Prince of Darkness and I am not Prince Crybaby, you little brat. We're gonna do this last hot sauce. To hell with you. Bring it on, Beelzebub.
couple things bread for you.
Thank you. How polite. I love you for it. Thank you.
Couple things of bread for you.
How nice of you. Bring it on. Bring it on.
Where's my bread?
I don't know. You kept giving me bread. I have a pile. I have the Tower of Breadable here. Oh, because I liked it.
He's loafing.
Somebody's loafing right now.
There you go.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Bring it on.
Take a sniff. Sniff it. Love it.
God, get it. Wait, no.
See, this one
Wait a minute. Hold on a second. Let me think.
when he actually
Smells kinda like honey.
He puts this in a lot of our food, and
Kristoff.
it's actually pretty good.
What else are you going to do with a hole?
It's a
Oh, it's honey sauce.
Yeah,
honey bee honey, yeah.
Yeah, it's a.
Sean is coming to your brother's defense here. What else are you supposed to do with a hole, he asks.
That's. No, I mean, he has a point.
Well, I mean, my brother never really, there was one time we were wrestling, it was kind of my own fault, and, like, I smashed my face into, like, into a wooden box and cut my eye.
So to give a little bit of context to this hot sauce, right? It is the very first ingredient is red habaneros, and you guys, I don't know if y'all know how ingredients lists work. the ingredients on anything are set like how much is in there. So the first ingredient on something is basically the base of whatever it is that you're eating. So it's like, you look at like sodas and stuff like that, the first ingredient is water. It's actually a very small percentage of everything else in there that actually creates like the flavor and stuff. The first ingredient in this one is habaneros, and the second ingredient in this one is honey and Carolina Reaper peppers. So...
See, I love honey, and habaneros are pretty good. The Carolina Reaper is what scares me.
Oh, you're gonna be fine. Jeez.
I know I'll live, most likely.
Now, I'm gonna tell these guys, just because this is actually a hot sauce that made me kind of suffer a little bit, a dab will do ya.
Yeah.
No, there you go. You get to create your own suffering.
I did. I moved in with you.
I'm gonna tear that off so I can have something to eat afterwards.
Oh, I made dinner, by the way.
I saw that.
I made some pork and...
Why would you do that to him?
Because misery loves company.
Why'd you... You don't have to do that. I mean, give me a little, I guess. Well, thank you.
All right.
This is why he's my bud. He's...
Come here, guys.
And Kristoff's my bud, too.
Ready?
Cheers.
No. Burn it up! Burn it up! Is that all you got? Oh, God.
Now, the great thing about this hot sauce, it's a slow burn hot sauce. It starts off very sweet, very tasty, but it ramps up in heat. Like, you can tell, watch his face get redder and redder. This is actually a pretty good, like, approximation of how it starts ramping up in heat. The redder his face gets, the hotter it is.
No, this is nowhere near as bad as the one we just had.
Give it a second.
I am. This is not as bad as this little lizard that we had. Yeah, no, I'm not getting much. Why not? Give me a little bit more.
I got a big old dab of that, so my...
How are your sinuses?
Maybe I...
Yeah, see, look at it. See how beautiful it is? I don't know if the camera's picking it up, but his nose right here is starting to get kind of like a St. Nicholas kind of thing, Jolly and red and
There's no jolliness here.
kind of sweaty.
You look like what Don Callis eats. A hot dog. Yeah, no, this is not as bad as the habanero lizard.
Personally,
Spicy, yeah.
Personally, out of all of them, this is actually probably my favorite hot sauce that we've gotten so far, just because it actually is super, super sweet and super, super tasty.
I just have to hold on to my rage.
Tyler says he looks like a cartoon.
Yeah, it is spicy, but it's not as bad as that lizard.
Apple juice.
For the record, Mr. Bishop, yes, I'm going to make it.
I am too, Dad.
You want some more?
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
no. Yeah.
Here, hold on. Open up.
Oh, I am sweating.
Oh, you're fine.
I know I...
Not.
I told you. I told you.
It's not as bad as...
It's a very slow burn.
I'm trying.
Uh-huh.
Now, the worst thing about this hot sauce, this hot hive, is not the fact that it's a slow burn and a slow buildup. It's the fact that it lingers. This is a hot sauce that sticks with you for like about an hour.
Mm-hmm.
That's insane.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I'm tapping into that inner corn player right now. Just the rage, the anger is counteracting the pain. I'm just mad now.
Corn player?
I don't have any models for corn in Warcraft. We should get. I want to get. I actually kind of like them. I kind of like corn.
I was thinking of what Don Callis ate the long way. Wrestling joke.
Mm-hmm.
Spicy and hot, but not as bad as the one we just did.
But anyway, guys, holy cow! You know we've been doing this for like an hour.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, okay. I'm gonna compose myself here for a second.
Well, while he's composing himself, I wanted to give you guys a heads up on my YouTube channel. I just released a new track. Pretty ironic that they're actually doing biblical stuff with this episode because my track actually has Carl Sagan in it. It's called Pale Blue. If you get the chance, you should go listen to it because I'm actually super proud of it.
We'll have a link in the description. Or a link in the chat, excuse me. There you go. I think that we got it there. Yeah, there it is. Yeah. Go check that out. Enjoy it. Jokes aside, thank you very much for being on the show. Thank you for bringing these extra hot sauces, you son of a...
Hey, this was your idea.
I know it was. I know. I'm reaping what I sow right now, but still, I am very clearly, I am still the Prince of Darkness. You cannot take that. Put your damn hand down. I am still the Prince of Darkness. Bishop over in the corner, thank you for everything. He's crying and screaming in pain. Everyone who was here tonight, we hope you had a good time. As I said, next week we will be remembering our good friend Captain Corey, talking about, that was not just a burp. Anyway, talking about pirates and folk tales of piracy and those characters.
This is going to be the Bishop's favorite episode.
Maybe. Anyway, but until
I like
then,
this one because you both have bread on your heads.
until next time, everyone. Until next time, everyone.
Hold on.
Oh dear, no.
Yep.
I got you. Fire! 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 Keep firing, assholes! Fire! Fire!
Mr. Bread!
Be next. Oh, we got one! Ah! Prince Christ! Screw you! I am the Prince of Darkness. This has been From One Side to the Other. This is DJ Scraps. That's the Bishop crying in the corner while he whistles. And as always, keep watching the shadows.
Good night, everybody.
I hate you so much.